world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccerrules.
No Question About That is supported by you, our listeners, on patreon.com/NQATpod or on Apple Podcast subscriptions. Backers get ad-free episodes every week and a bonus show where we talk about something to do with United or football around the Premier League and Europe. We very much value your support. And now on with the show. Welcome to No Question About That. This is the midweek pod talking about West Ham 1, United 1, with me, Ed, and it's Dharnish today. Dharnish. Very, 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 very flat, that one, but somehow United managed to get out of there with a point. Nuno's low block.
Yeah.
God, that's caused us some trouble over the years, hasn't it?
Every season I hate playing him. They knew exactly what they were doing today.
Yeah.
And we just got frustrated. It wasn't even like, normally it's like it's a low block or a mid block and it's like park 2 buses or park the bus or whichever parking it was. And it's like, okay, they're not going to move from where they are and you're going to have to find spaces in between that. The problem with West Ham today was if they found space riskily in a spot, say it was Cunha or Fernandes dropping deep, they'd be on their heels. They'd be like ripping they'd be like dragging their arm back and stuff. I imagine it's very annoying to play against. They did the same to Chelsea as well. It's like sitting on the bus, but then pressing the person next to you, parking the bus and pressing. I don't know. Come up with something better than that. That was awful.
Totally ruining the analogies there, yeah. No Jose, are you? Although Nuno, that was a very good impression of a Jose team that was tonight. They do it so often. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, as usual, he's managed to defend the back post about 3 times in his life, and they've all been for West Ham versus United because he never did it when he was a player for us. Deary me. And Souček scored a bunch against us as well, isn't he?
It was a rough night for a lot of the attackers.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a difficult night for most of the attackers. They were sort of getting in each other's zone in the first half. I thought it didn't really change much until Sesko came on. You then got a very different looking attack, and then he chucked all the attackers on. But it was hard. It was hard for them to find space in front of that really compressed midfield and defence, dropping deep, as you said, and then like everyone was in the same zone and we couldn't really get any width. And I guess it was a lot on Dalot and Shaw to try and find some width. And don't know about you, I reckon Shaw might be done physically. He just can't get up and down anymore.
I thought about it. There's times where I was watching it today saying, Luke, go. What? Why are you still go? I used to watch you buccaneer up and down the touchline all the time, but maybe number one, they want him in build-up. Maybe number two, you're right. He can't do that physically, or he can do that physically, but he doesn't want to risk an injury. But he was still, I think he had a cross today early in the first half, but just things like they'd get it in a zone, they'd find some space. Even when Mainoo was quite good at driving at West Ham with the ball at his feet, Casemiro's like, okay, screw it, I'll go forward too because we need a goal. But whenever that happen, get to the edge of the penalty area, there's 2 or 3 West Ham shirts crowding you out. So it was very difficult. And then Mbeumo drops deep. Great, okay. Cunha drops deep. Okay, they want to help out from getting the ball from defence into attack. They can both do that, but that means one of them is missing up there, so there's nobody up there to pin them.
I mean, it looked quite a lot of the time that there was no forward there because Mbeumo was coming out to the left, Cunha was drifting into central areas, so was Bruno, and it wasn't quite as coherent. I do wonder, I know Carrick has been kind of loyal to the players that have played well over the last 4 games, whether this was not a game for Sesko there to give them a focal point for it, because it did seem to improve a little bit when we had someone there. Or maybe it was just the intensity at the last 15 minutes when they absolutely had to go for it. Maybe that was the big driver and not Sesko per se. In any case, I don't know whether it was 2 games in a week or just Nuno's low block or a combination of both of them. But for so much of this game, it just felt really flat. You had Martinez on the ball, who we talked about a lot on the Tactics pod last week, just how good, or the main pod last week, just how good he's been at playing those line-breaking passes. And then he was on the ball, kind of standing still, waiting for someone to move.
Or sometimes the pass would be great, go through, and then they'd immediately give it back because they were scared of losing it. Like you said, maybe it was just a combination of a few factors playing a game in a week, but it's a tight, sexy, low block. It's a tight, sexy, low block Nuno plays. We're not really going to play that every week, but then I'd say the next game that we have is probably a good test of what he does in terms of solutions to stop this, because he's got David Moyes next.
Yeah.
What I will say as well, I don't want to keep bashing the guy on this pod, but wasn't that so much better than all right, fine, look, we huffed and puffed for most of the game. Space was hard to come by. Even West Ham at the end, they had a few counters. They could have scored 2. But wasn't that much better than going from side to side and quick, put a centre-back on. Quick, put a centre-back on. He gambled again.
He did gamble.
I know Maguire was injured, but he bought 2 defenders off and he put 2 attackers on. Sesko scored and Xerxes almost scored.
Yeah, maybe should have. In fact, it was noticeable how few chances we created. And yeah, I think Carrick ball is more than just vibes. We've talked about this before. There is a lot of intent there. He wants players getting forward. He wants to play vertical. And that was really hard when West Ham correctly squeezed the space. And we don't really have the natural wingers in the club to deal with the old-fashioned way of dealing with a low block, be to get it out wide and put crosses in. Don't really have those options if the fullbacks aren't going to do it. So it was a difficult game, but I'm pretty sure, just to bash Amorim one last time, that we would not want 4 games out of 5 under Amorim, and it would have been even more cautious in some of the other games, to the point of fault and probably chucking away points. So it's disappointing, but we have lost, I think it's the last 3 at West Ham. So in the context of that, and playing 2 games in 3 days, which is unusual, and West Ham having won 4 of their last 5 as well, it's not a horrendous result. It's disappointing, but not horrendous.
You can't have everything in life, but we are 9 games unbeaten now. Somebody said that to me earlier. I was like, hello, when?
Yeah, I know. Some of them are pretty dodgy performances.
Some of them were the dodgy ones, but you take it within the context of the season and everything, and it was still, I know you said earlier that Carrick ball is more than just vibes. There was still a lot of, when they weren't getting space, they were doing rotations a lot. So now you see Casemiro is going up into the striker position, and Cunha is dropping deeper, and Diallo is dropping deeper, and sometimes Bruno is up on the wing. That's kind of what happens when a team really knows their system well. They start just going, oh, there's some space there, I'll go there, and he will go over there. That's how they get more understanding. You can see that there's still confidence in the way that they play as well, the way they zip the ball about. I just feel like maybe we just have to stomach this draw and then move on to Everton, because the start was brilliant. The start was absolutely fantastic. Everybody's smiling ear to ear. People are getting married now and stuff like that because United are winning. But now we're getting towards the business end of the season. There's 12 games left. Top 4 is absolutely there. Absolutely there.
I guess it's a pity that we couldn't take advantage of Chelsea dropping points at home tonight. They are currently our main rivals for 4th and 5th, although I guess it means that both Chelsea and Liverpool have to pick up a lot of points to knock us out of the top 5, assuming Aston Villa don't drop points, and we have to play Villa and we play Chelsea and we play Liverpool. So there's plenty of squeaky bum time to come. And yeah, Probably the worst of our 5 performances under Carrick. I mean, Fulham wasn't great.
Fulham wasn't amazing, no.
This one, just not a lot of creation. I think only 3 shots on target. 2 of those were from Benjamin Sesko, and the other was Luke Shaw's after 20-something minutes or whatever it was. So despite having 60-odd% possession, it's 0.75 XG. So it's not awesome. Although, did you notice they came up with another set-piece routine where Bruno fired it low into the penalty spot? Yeah.
Love it. I watched those before bed. They're brilliant.
They're great. Well, they're entertaining because they're coming up with innovative ways that don't involve, like, putting 5 men on the goalkeeper and it looking like a rugby line-out.
It's where the league's going. It's where the league is trending towards going. Brentford, for instance, I think they have the same amount of points as Liverpool. They have their verticality, free kicks, set pieces. They operate in the same way. I was watching a lot of their footage today, and it was very much like they hit a cross or a ball that goes near defenders and puts the onus on them to deal with it, and then they sort of ricochet the ball in. So I'm glad that they're finding different set piece routines now, which doesn't rely necessarily all the time on Casemiro and Maguire, because they're 2 players that might leave in the summer as well. I hope they don't. I mean, but Casemiro definitely is anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens with Maguire.
It would depend on the compromise on the contract, I'm sure. And he's probably asking for 2 years, and United are probably asking for probably a 50% reduction in wages or some kind of benchmarking against time played. A bit like how Paris Saint-Germain are doing if you don't play more than 65 minutes, or if you play more than 65% of all minutes, you get a bonus. Something like that. I'm sure they're moving towards something that's more performance-based with him. It makes a lot of sense to me to keep Maguire on if you're not going to go buy another defender. And there are a lot of rumours that they're interested in Xhaka's, obviously going to Liverpool. Would they bring in another defender? They've got Heaven and Yoro both waiting in the wings, as well as Martinez, who's come back great, assuming he can stay fit. De Ligt, we don't know what's happening with his stress fracture in his back. That's, not great.
He's been out for a long, long time.
Months now. And Maguire obviously has a patchy injury record himself, so they may want to think about it. De Ligt's got a lot of years left on his contract. He's very sellable if they wanted to. I don't think they will. And then Maguire, if you keep him, you don't have to buy another defender, and that's probably enough. 5 for 2 spots.
Probably 2. I mean, this team was built for Amorim, so that's why you've got so many centre backs to play with.
Yeah.
I'd give Maguire another year, because clearly I think him and Martinez is the first choice option.
Yeah, it's leadership too, right? Once Casemiro goes, I mean, it's really only Bruno and Shaw that have got a lot of tenure. I guess you could say Diogo Dalot. There's question marks over both fullbacks in terms of quality and fitness. So I don't know whether they're going to have capacity to do anything there in the summer or not. I would suspect not, if it's going to be 2 or 3 midfielders they have to bring in. So Maguire is useful just because of his personality and his leadership, the fact he's come back from hard times. We know when he's good, right? He's good when you're defending the box. He's decent passer, and he's not very quick when you're worried about players nipping in behind. And so it's an issue if we bring in a coach, whether it's Carrick or someone else who wants to play a higher line. But still, I see a lot of value in keeping him. And we'll see. He came off with what looked like a bit of a muscle injury tonight.
I think it was a hamstring, they were saying.
God, I mean, we're not playing for another 2 weeks. Just hope it's not another injury.
Just put him in the ice bath. Get some magic spray.
Magic spray, ice bath, masseuse, all of it. Yeah. Lenny Yoro came on though and made a couple of fantastic blocks. Yeah,
he was very good. He might have got us that point, because there was a few times where Adama had him on skirts, and you don't want Adama Traore to be running at you when there's 2 minutes left. Those big arms on that ripped shirt.
Do you need a moment alone, Dharnish?
But he is. The dude's like, he's like the only footballer I know where everyone's like, he's really edge. Like they don't talk about his football.
No. Well, that's because the actual football's fairly crap, isn't it? He claimed once that he doesn't pump iron. Just what lies.
Why would you say that though? I don't get why you would say that.
I'm just naturally like this, bro. I think.
Mm. But I mean, you're always very good at the end. I always bang on about centre backs and their progression, because I think that's where the attack starts. And Maguire and Martinez for me is the first choice, because it suits this team. It's risk first. You go front foot. Everything's forward. I like that spine of Martinez, Maguire, Mainoo, Casemiro because they all go forward. They all want to progress the ball forward into the strikers. But hopefully he's not out for too long.
Yeah, it'd be a big blow if he is. I mean, look, both Heaven and Yoro have had their moments this season. Heaven's not played a lot. Had that little burst, didn't he, when he played a few games back end of Amorim's tenure. Thought he did pretty well then. We know what he's about. He's very aggressive as a defender. He's a good passer of the ball. And Yoro, super quick recovery speed, great carrying the ball. Probably needs to be braver with his passing, I think. Depends what kind of coach we get next. But it's not like he can't pass, but it's not Lisandro Martinez levels of quality, is it, or aggressiveness. What did you make of the centre midfield pairing? Because it's kind of been noticeable how much Kobbie Mainoo's been like the focal point of build-up, right? He's the guy who takes it off the centre-backs, and Casemiro pushes a bit forward in the build-up phase. Yeah. It's slightly different in the transitions, in out of possession, but he put in a fantastic ball for Casemiro's goal, non-goal.
God, that was brilliant.
What a pass that was.
That was a brilliant 2 seconds. But even Casemiro came back saying, no, I've missed it. Don't celebrate. But I think I've always wanted that pairing. They complement each other really well. Casemiro's not that good at driving forward with the ball. Mainoo is. Mainoo's not the best at tackling or breaking up transitions. Or even if he's okay, it doesn't matter because Casemiro's one of the best in the world. He always has been.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that Casemiro is kind of venturing forward more because he likes to get his head on the end of things, and he's one of the best headers that I think we have.
We're gonna miss that.
He scored 5 goals this season?
5, and then almost 6 tonight. Yeah, 4 of the 5 have been with his head, and we're gonna miss him in both boxes.
Celebrate Lunar New Year parties with help from Whole Foods Market. Find yellow sale signs on Asian-inspired ingredients like whole fish, stir-fry ready shrimp, and organic ground pork that's great in dumplings. Explore fresh veggies like napu cabbage, bok choy, and komatsu na. And check out the floral department for money trees, orchids, and more. Perfect for gifting. Find good fortune and flavors through the 24th at Whole Foods Market.
Patreon.com/NQAT pod for the extra show. I think this week we're going to talk about midfielders and kind of profiles, but it really does make a difference who United are going to buy in the summer. If we're now allowed to assume that Kobbie Mainoo, depending on what coach we get next, is now a fixture in the team again, not going to get bombed out, what are the profiles that make sense? Obviously, they're interested in Elliot Anderson, so I hear everyone here is City are as well. And you got to deal with Forest's owner.
Yeah.
Maybe a very, very, very large fee there. But what kind of profile suits Kobbie Mainoo? You probably want someone who, a lot of ground coverage, does the interceptions and tackles. Casemiro's numbers, you mentioned it earlier, they're off the fucking chart.
I've been saying this every single week since, I don't know, game week 2, and only now, because he's really, really good, people are saying it. He's been this good all season. Like there's some of the, just watch him in the games, watch the yards that he covers. There was like one big tackle, I think, right towards the end of the game where he absolutely needed to take the ball, took the ball, slid again to take it again, and then made the move at the start of the move.
Yeah.
He's not prime Casemiro because that was like Real Madrid Casemiro, but he's something close to it.
He's been eating his spinach. He played 90 minutes tonight as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what's going on because I thought he was done. I thought physically he was done. Didn't seem to. I mean, I guess it's because we had that period of Ten Hag and a lot of Amorim where, because Amorim was playing a lot of long balls, where the gap between the pivot and the front 5, or whoever, front 4, front 5, was really large, and we had that under Ten Hag for different reasons, and he just couldn't. Neither him nor Mainoo could make that much ground coverage. It was just exposing them too much. And Carrick has got much more compact, much less space between the lines, and it suits Casemiro really well, and Mainoo, especially Mainoo. But Casemiro's been great all season, as you said. It's been a real renaissance. We'll see where he ends up. Let's talk about him moving to MLS, which would suit him fine. But it feels like when he performs at this level, he's not done at this level, is he?
It feels like a waste. just simple. Someone told me that it was a change in fitness regime. That was like his body was getting older, but he didn't realize that the league was still very physical, so he needed to change his regimen or his training. He definitely looks like a guy who doesn't even need to cover that much ground anymore. He can stand in the right place and he knows where to be when teams attack. He's got that nous back of just snuffing an attack out. Like, just stop it before it begins kind of vibe. But if you ask me for profiles, I don't even know who we're going to replace him with, because it's such a unique profile. Who puts out that many fires in the Premier League?
No one. I mean, Anderson's pretty high, but not anywhere near as...
Yeah.
And he's got a different... The profile is obviously he's a better passer, or at least a more accurate passer than Casemiro. Casemiro's obviously he can be a bit scattergun. He's got the engine on him. I think the kind of all-rounder profile. Does that fit with Mainoo? I think it probably does, as long as you profile them right in terms of, like, if it was Anderson, Mainoo, Bruno, Kobbie's role is still the linker role, and that would necessarily, I think, change the profile or the role of Anderson, because at Forest he's the main man and he gets a lot of touches of the ball. And I don't know what Carrick's done, but Kobbie Mainoo's touch numbers are going up, right? 66 passes today. You probably want him to get to 80, and then he looks very much in that Luka Modric, Toni Kroos kind of profile.
Yeah.
Again, not saying he's good as those guys.
You need a tempo controller, and he suits the profile for that.
And he's playing more forward passes, right? In youth level, he was a good passer, right? That's part of the reason why everyone was so excited about him. He wasn't just this technical, intelligent footballer. He was also a good passer. And I think the one thing maybe that, I don't know what it is exactly, it's not ground coverage, because we know he can run, right? He's still topping all the running metrics. And he's pretty quick as well if you look at the sprint data. What is it? Something about Toni Kroos always knew to be in the right place, and because he was constantly moving. And I think there's something still that Kobbie can work on there.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
At his tender young age, I think so.
Plenty of years.
Plenty of years. I don't think he's had many games where he's needed to control them, if that makes sense. I don't see. There's not been that many games where he's needed to take a game by the scruff of its neck and bring it down to his level. I feel like he thrived in chaos in the first year under Ten Hag, right? I still don't get how he did that run, but he was dictating games then, but it was a tennis match all the time under Ten Hag. And I feel like if we have more games under Carrick with him as a central midfielder, he will gradually learn and get better as a tempo controller, because we don't really have our best player is not really a tempo controller. He's a guy who just has a weird sixth sense for these footballing decisions or passes that nobody else sees. That's why he's the best chance creator in the league.
Right.
But that's why you also can't have constant chaos in each player.
Yeah, disappointing from Bruno tonight. He only created 4 chances. He did 7 at the weekend. So 4 is a very good number.
That's a joke, by the way, guys.
For everybody except for Bruno. Yeah, he's gonna end up with like 150 chances created this season, or so, maybe not that many, 120, something like that. Let's talk a little bit about the goal we conceded, because that was pretty messy.
It was a little bit messy, yeah.
Luke Shaw didn't make the header. Like, just stick your fucking head in, dude. It's not a goal if he actually heads it.
Good analysis. It's a really good analysis. I thought the exact same thing when it happened.
I mean, when I was at school, I was not a good footballer, right? So, I'll preface it with that. But that's what we were always told. If there's a high ball, head it. Don't wait for it to bounce. Head it.
I just feel like we concede so many of these messy goals against teams like this. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. It doesn't. It feels like you're going to concede a worldie or one of these messy goals. Like against Fulham, it was a worldie and a penalty.
Yeah, it was a really ugly goal. And then Lisandro Martinez, he's obviously caught between two thoughts. Like, does he?
He does know where to go on to stay.
Does he defend his zone, or does he go? He had to go out. He did
something similar against Burnley, where he was hesitant. I think they scored. It was a worldie again, but he sort of hesitated to run up to him. So I mean,
yeah, bit odd. They'll look at that in the video analysis, and they should both have a long, hard think.
Fucking head it next time. That's what they'll tell him, and they'll say, "Now get out."
Fucking head him. Well, Steve Holland apparently is not polite with the players when it comes to these kind of things. So yeah.
I wouldn't imagine he would be. He looks like the old-fashioned kind of guy.
He's just the kind of guy you would meet in the pub who'd been drinking for 6 hours straight.
Get up to in your spare time. Is that what you were doing last week?
That's what I get up to in my spare time. Not really. And then United's goal, I mean, it's not actually a great cross from Mbeumo. It's recycled. I think it's Fernandes recycles it out to Mbeumo, is it? Or is it Ahmad? One of the two. I can't remember now.
Mbeumo, yeah.
Yeah, and Mbeumo puts cross in. It's kind of flat and low, and just a brilliant finish from Sesko. Bloody hell!
I didn't even celebrate. I turned to my friend. I was like, "How did that go? How did he do that? It's a deft touch." He knew it was that good after because he smiled to himself. He knew it was 1-1 and we wanted to score. Yeah, no, we had a minute left, but he was smiling because he knew how good that was, and he knew how good his finish against Fulham was as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got some player there. If he can get himself in the team, he's young, so he's plenty of time. But the range of finishes we're getting from him now is pretty impressive.
The pressure attacking-wise is not that it's completely off Bruno, because it's still, this is a Bruno Fernandes team, but it feels like, all right, Cunha won't do it and Mbeumo won't do it. Sesko might. All right, Sesko won't do it, Cunha is not going to do it. Mbeumo might. It's, they got it right, I think, in the summer. They changed the attack.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of depth now.
There is, and we've got a lot of quality players there. So if the game plan isn't quite working out, like today, there's just talent. There won't be many teams for the rest of the season that restrict us to 9 shots. That's all, 9 shots today, 3 on target. There won't be many teams that could restrict us to that. And although playing Everton next, it might look kind of similar. But there'll be a lot of teams where we score goals.
I think there's enough there to outscore teams, which is what I wanted this team to do in the first place of this whole time, especially after you signed a new attack in the summer. This team is there to outscore opponents. It's not there to, okay, we've got to go. Now everybody go back into a mid-block. Sorry, another hammer in my irritants there.
You don't think our old attack could have done it? They're in a mixed bag of campaigns. Rashford's playing well. He was good again at the weekend. Garnacho is playing shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Rashford's been more effective off the bench, to be fair, for Barcelona. He is an impact player, especially against low blocks. Antony scored another worldie at the weekend. Did you see his goal? He whipped it into the wrong side. Like, you know how he cuts it in and then, well, look, he cuts in from the right and he sticks that curler in the top corner. Well, 1 out of 10 shots. And this one, he put it in the other corner. It was a good finish.
Was it similar to the one he scored against Man City? Was that his debut, I think?
A bit more power on it than that one. That was more of a grass cutter, wasn't it? So,
I mean, Jadon, I've seen a few of Jadon Sancho's games for Villa, but
he's been utter dog shit.
They're all in the Europa League, so
the better ones are where he comes inside a little bit, but yeah, he's not been. I don't know what the hell's going to happen to him. He's out of contract.
I'm surprised they took him, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they sent Daniel. Did Daniel Marlon come back, or they sent him away?
They sent him away.
Okay, yeah. They got Leon Bailey back.
Yeah, God, I can't keep up with Aston Villa's coming and goings on.
No, they got Leon Bailey back. Sorry, this is what I do before bed.
Thinking about Leon Bailey and Adama Traore, yeah.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, he's not getting a contract at Villa. And clearly Chelsea had enough of him. He's not quick enough to be a wide player in the Premier League. He could be an inside, like in a number 10 type role, but there are not that many teams that play as with a pure 10. Give him a free role. I don't think he's going to end up in the Premier League. He should go to Spain, Germany, or Italy, I think.
I don't think he suits many teams. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where. Like, if you told me who would he play for, I'd be like, I don't know.
Do you know where he should end up? He's got prime Turkey. Prime Turkey.
You think he's gonna get a hair transplant, get some new teeth or something?
Hair transplant. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it just feels like that might be his destination next.
Would you take Rashford back?
Well, I think the club had decided no anyway, so I think the point is moot.
Really?
Yeah, I think for both. Look, my personal opinion, like given what I'd heard off people and talked to people about his situation, not that you really ever know exactly what has gone on there. it seems that he would be better away from Manchester, and United as a club have moved on from him. If you ask Michael Carrick, he'd probably say yes, right? Because he doesn't have that kind of explosive player from that side. It would give him another, a very different player to Cunha, right? It'd give him that option. I feel like the club have decided it's time to move on, and they'll take whatever fee. They'd probably even sanction another loan if Barcelona weren't willing to come up with a fee just to reduce the wage bill. It doesn't matter on amortization, or he's an academy player. So you'd like the money, but if you can't get it, you take the wages off the books. So I think our time has come and gone with Rashford, and it's probably for the best all round. I mean, you take Rashford from 3 years ago, his best season ever. Of course you would, but and some of his performances in Spain have looked very reminiscent. Not all of them.
Really effective. Not all of them, but he's not really. Yeah. What I would say to that as well is they probably looked at the money that he was on after he had that amazing season and were like, this isn't. Was he the club's highest earner or close to it?
Yeah, he was, and they're trying to they're clearly trying to restructure the wages. If Harry signs a new contract, he'll be on a lower wage. Casemiro's going at least. Bruno's the highest earner, and Mason Mount is the second highest earner. I would watch that one in the summer. They are making a real effort to benchmark United's wages against fourth or fifth biggest in the Premier League. Now, can you outthink the rest of the league and be successful on the fourth or fifth biggest wages in the league? Normally
I hope
not,
so.
Right? You hope so. Maybe that's the plan, right? They pull the wages back, they get in the Champions League, and then they can spend it on a couple of big names.
I mean, what would the big names be, do you I mean, a midfielder is the obvious one, probably two. And like none of the names, we'll see. I mean, they are all hard. Anderson's going to be a mega fee. Balaba's had a stinker of a season, so they might want to negotiate on that. They're definitely not paying Caicedo money for this version of Carlos Baleba. There's Wharton, who I don't think his profile fits with Mainoo really. He is also a connector. No, but he's like a Mainoo light who commits more fouls, I feel.
And Baleba, I think, is probably a good profile. There's some things they do well. They both carry the ball really well. And do you need two of them that do that? I don't know. But Baleba gets around and makes a lot of interceptions, tackles, stuff like that. A lot of people talk about Angelo Stiller. I've said before, I don't think that's a good fit. Talented as he is, Stuttgart player. I think he'll struggle with the physicality of the Premier League somewhat, much as Manuel Ugarte has done. Who else? Bouadi is he at Lille or Lens? I can't remember now. Ron.
I think maybe I'll have to check.
Yeah,
that.
I forget. I haven't seen a lot of him. People talk about him a lot. So, and either way, it's going to be hard to pull off two big deals like that. But they pulled two big deals off of Mbeumo and Cunha, so I guess that's the plan again. Do that kind of thing.
If you want, you could. I could be riffing, just because I want to see it again. Because I like having nice things in life. Lisandro Martinez in midfield. I just want to see it again.
You just want to see it, yeah. I mean, I guess, you squint.
I guess that situation was like needs must, right? Because everyone was...
It was needs must, yeah.
Because there was half an hour left. We were all like high-fiving, going, woohoo, what the hell is this? But you could. Honestly, you could.
It's the ground coverage, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like he could snuff out a decent amount of attacks. With his tackling and with his aggression, he'd land the role a little bit better. He's also, we then have two very progressive passes in the team.
Sure. Yeah. You squint hard enough, you got Tony Kroos in there, have you?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Massive summer. And of course, if United do get into the Champions League, that's 80 to 100 million extra in revenue, something like 50 million EBITDA, let's call it that, because, you've got bonuses on top that they'll have to pay. If they're in the Champions League, that adds another 15% to the wage bill or something like that. So that it's a fair bit, but you make a huge amount of more money, like just the broadcast and prize money. If you get out the group stage, which is really hard not to, you will make 100 million. Although United's pool will not be that high. I guess we got some coefficient points from the Europa League final a couple of years ago, last year. But the pool share won't be that high. Fourth and fifth, actually, it does make quite a big difference. It's
really?
3.5. Yeah, it's 3.5 million of prize money just in the Premier League, but it's quite a bigger share of the pool. So the way Champions League is they take the full pool of TV rights, and sponsorships and all stuff like that. They attribute it to all the leagues based on their coefficient and local market, so the value of the local market rights. And then they split that up based on two things: where you finished in your league and your coefficient, and how many teams you've got in the league. So actually having 5, although it makes it easier to get in, it does split the pool. And then what you really want, if you want to make loads of money, it's not great for the league, but you want all your compatriot teams to be knocked out nice and early, because then you get an even bigger share of your pool. It's a bit complicated, but that's all to say it's like United need to be in the tournament for 2 or 3 years to really get the big prize money. But then there's another 10 million on the Adidas deal. They're more likely to be able to sell training kit and sleeve sponsors running out. And like all the other commercial stuff United do is just, when you're in the biggest stage, you make the biggest bucks.
Yeah. When you're big, you're big.
Exactly. As the actress said to the bishop.
What?
Never mind.
I'll steal it, but I don't know what it means.
What do we think of Everton in a couple of weeks' time? And we got a big wait, haven't we? God, 2 weeks without football. That sucks so much.
13 days? It's the cup weekend this weekend.
It is the cup weekend. So that also pisses me off because we shouldn't be out of the cup.
Yeah, I agree. Because I like the cup because you get a break from football for 2 days, to be honest. That's why I like it. Especially now when we're getting into it. And I've been in Madrid for, I don't know, maybe a month, and I've seen some big games here. So Arsenal, so City. Let's see. It's not the nicest game to come back to, I think. You know what I mean? It's not like, I wish we were playing at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Especially when you play one game a week, sometimes players look rusty because they don't actually get minutes in their legs. Are Everton still in the cup?
And just looking, nope. They also have 2 weeks off.
2 weeks off.
So no physical advantage. But everyone, and if Harry is injured, chance for him to come back. They lost to Bournemouth today, though. So Bournemouth came from behind to win. So that was Everton's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 match unbeaten run over.
Moyes
Moyes been doing the same thing for 20 years. It's amazing.
But he's a grand master at it. He's a grand master at it. Just like Nuno is almost a grand master at it. So it's a really, really good test to see where we are with Carrick and whether we can break down a little block or whether it was just that honeymoon period at the start, which was fantastic, by the way, because we have to remember what we've just come from. But go there with the same sort of confidence that you've carried in these first 4 or 5 games. Because even today, I know there was little space. They were still zipping the ball about a lot to each other. The way they were passing it, there was pace on the pass.
Yeah.
So go there with the same confidence. Use the set piece goals. Use the depth that we have. Use everything good from the last 4 or 5 weeks. Use that, and then let's see if we can break down a low block.
Yeah, I mean, we said that would be an interesting test against Fulham, who don't play with a low block. But
No, they never have.
Nope. But there was a test. And then with West Ham today, it very much did. I haven't looked at United's field tilt, but I'm sure it's going to be in the 75% range or something like that. And then Everton, yeah, we know what we're going to get out of Moyes. Mind you, they're not having a bad season at all. You know what?
They've got some really good players.
They are only 2 points behind Liverpool. When's the last time they finished above Liverpool in the table? It's got to have been 50 years ago or something.
I will say one thing as well. James Garner playing really, really well. Like really, really well.
Just signed a new contract.
But he's playing really some of my friends, Everton fans, they keep banging on about him. So yeah, Casemiro grab him by the ear, first 5 minutes.
Or maybe he shouldn't, because he's been sent off for that kind of stuff in the past, hasn't he?
No, but you know what I mean.
I know. Yeah, it's going to be a really good test. Dewsbury Hall's playing well as well. Jack Grealish was playing well, but now he fractured his foot, so he's out
injured,
he's out for the rest of the season. Definitely reduces the amount of options they have in attack. Moyes was being rather rude about Tyler Dibbling the other day as well, because he's not achieved. Yeah, well, when we were interested, so reports say Southampton quoted 100 million. He ended up going to Everton for 35 or something like that, and then he's barely featured because he's just not been doing very well.
He was a good player. He was a really good player at Southampton.
He was not 100 million good.
Big fish, little pond, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe he's just having a difficult season, transition, all of that.
Yeah, we never know.
Very good. Well, that is West Ham 1, United 1.
Kind of a damp squib to finish off for 2 weeks.
It's disappointing. We all wanted the run. That guy with the big hair who's got a ridiculous amount of press. Someone grab him and shave it off. Like, just do it. For the good of everyone. Be nice to him. He seems all right, I guess. But yeah, I want it to be done. I'm sick of seeing it. I had to mute the word hair on socials.
Hair?
Yeah, because I don't want to have to see his stuff. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Maybe we'll win 5 in a row again and we'll get a car or whatever, but it's, yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Patreon.com/NQAT pod. We'll do an extra pod over the next couple of days, or you can do that on Apple Podcast subscriptions. You can find us on all the various audio apps and on YouTube if you want to listen to us on YouTube. Apparently some people still do, and I upload some clips there too if you want to see our beautiful faces. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you, Dharnish. See you next time.
Thank you.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.